My girlfriend. Casually said, "You're not my priority anymore. Deal with it." I didn't feel heartbreak first. I felt the math. Ava said it like she was reading a menu. "You're not my priority anymore. Deal with it." She didn't even look at me when she said it. She opened the fridge, picked at the label on a yogurt cup, and checked her phone face down on the counter like it was a living thing that might bite. I looked at her, replied, "Okay," and acted like nothing changed. I heard myself say it. I made coffee. 2 mugs. Routine. Performance. The only thing that felt real was my hand on the handle, steady, because I decided it would be. "Ava," I said, still calm, "you want to talk about what that means?" "It means what it means," she said. "I can't keep managing your feelings." Managing. Like I was a task on her calendar. I nodded. "Okay." She loved that word when it came from me. Okay meant compliant. Okay meant safe. Okay meant predictable. I watched her pull on her blazer, check her lipstick using the back of a spoon like she was in a movie, and head for the door. When she kissed my cheek, her mouth didn't land. It hovered near my skin like a bluff. I stood there until the condo felt too quiet. Then I pulled out my phone and opened a notes app I'd never used. I typed a title with my thumbs not shaking. Exit plan, do not improvise. I had one friend in Ava's orbit who still answered me like a human. Mia Sandoval. Ava called her my girl. Ava also used her like a mirror, checking her own shine in Mia's eyes. I texted Mia, simple and harmless. "Hey, what time is Ava's medical device event tomorrow?" 3 dots appeared, then vanished. No reply. Silence can be a confession if you listen long enough. That night, Ava came home late. She said traffic. She said a client. She said, "Don't start." I didn't start anything. I cooked. I asked about her day. I laughed in the right places like I was watching a show I'd already seen the ending to. In bed, she faced the other direction. Her phone glowed against the pillow like a tiny moon. She fell asleep with it in her hand. I stared at the ceiling and counted costs: lease, utilities, bank accounts, shared subscriptions. The couch we picked out because she wanted clean lines. In my head, I moved each piece into a new place, like furniture in an empty room. When you're done, you can breathe. By sunrise, my plan was a list. By noon, it was a schedule. I watched Ava leave for work, waved like nothing was wrong, then clicked save on that note and walked to my closet. I didn't pack a bag. I packed a life. And I didn't leave a single word behind. While she was at work, I moved out without a note or a message. That sentence sounds dramatic. It wasn't. It was procedural. The first moving truck arrived at 9:07 a.m. A local company, cash deposit, no questions. The driver was a guy with a shaved head and a polite face who'd seen enough breakups to stop taking sides. "You want everything?" he asked, looking at the condo like it might argue. "Everything that's mine," I said, "and everything I paid for." He nodded. "Happens." I had already signed a lease for a small duplex across town. Nothing romantic, nothing Instagram-worthy, just clean and quiet and mine. I'd transferred utilities the day before. I'd changed my direct deposit. I'd separated my card from her auto-pays. Not in a petty way, in a survival way. I took photos as I went, not for revenge, for records. If you've ever tried to untangle shared property with a person who believes in narratives more than facts, you learn fast. A locksmith met me at noon. He wore a hoodie with his company name stitched over the heart and carried a toolbox that looked like it could open doors in any neighborhood. "Lease in your name?" he asked. "Our lease," I said. "But I've got written permission from the landlord. I'm removing my access, not locking her out." He checked the email on my phone, nodded, and did the job. He didn't ask why. He didn't need to. It wasn't dramatic. It was a man turning a screwdriver while my stomach did slow circles. I left the keyring on the counter when I was done. The little metal loop that had meant home for 3 years. It looked small and stupid without context. I didn't leave a letter. I didn't leave a speech. I left one sheet of paper on the kitchen table, printed in black and white like a receipt for disrespect. It was her line, in quotes, with the date and time. "You're not my priority anymore. Deal with it." No extra words, no heartbreak poetry, just the fact. At 2:41 p.m., my phone lit up with her name. I didn't answer. I watched it ring like it was someone else's problem. A voicemail popped in. I hit play on the preview. "Evan," she said, voice tight. "Where are you? This is not funny. Call me." Funny. Like my life was a prank I pulled for attention. At 3:12 p.m., I drove away from the condo for the last time, with my clothes in boxes, and my couch strapped down, and my chest feeling like it had been hollowed and replaced with cold air. 2 days passed. I didn't post. I didn't explain. I didn't beg for closure I already gave myself. On the second night in my new place, my phone buzzed. Mia. One message. One sentence. "You weren't losing her to love. You were losing her to a plan." I stared at it until the letters stopped being letters and turned into a shape. A plan. That's what made sense. Ava didn't do messy endings. Ava did controlled outcomes. I typed back, "Meet me tomorrow." Public. Then, like a cruel little bonus, my phone lit up with a notification from our shared photo stream, one I forgot to turn off. Ava posted a boomerang, champagne glasses clinking. Time-stamped 1:18 p.m. on a workday, and in the blur of the reflection, a man's watch on her wrist. I knew that watch. I had seen it in a photo on her desk months ago, the one she said was just my team. My stomach didn't drop. It got very still. I opened my note again and added a new line under the title, "Find the edge of the plan." And then I circled tomorrow on my calendar like it was a warning sign. I slid into the seat across from her. "Thanks for coming." She stared at my face like she was making sure I wasn't going to explode. "You're calm," she said. "I'm tired," I said. "Those two emotions look similar on me." She swallowed. "I shouldn't be doing this." "You already did," I said, tapping my phone where her message still sat like a bruise. Mia's eyes flicked toward the waitress, then back. "Ava's been saying things. About me. About you," she confirmed. "About how you're predictable. Safe. A placeholder." The words hit, but they didn't surprise. When someone says you're not their priority, they've already told themselves you're something they can set down and pick back up. "She told people," Mia went on, voice low, "that you'd never leave. That you're too practical. That you'll take it because you always take it." I nodded once. "And the plan?" Mia's mouth tightened. "It's not just cheating, it's logistics. She's been talking about how you'll be the one to walk away so she can say you abandoned her." There it was, the clean story, the shiny lie, rehearsed. "Who's he?" I asked. Mia hesitated, then said it like it was a grenade. "Blake." The name landed hard because it finally had weight. Blake Harlan, regional sales rep, charismatic closer, the guy Ava used to describe as just a friend in the industry. I didn't say anything for a moment. I let the silence do work. Mia exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for days. "He's been around the events, always, helping, bringing connections. Ava loves him because he makes her look important. And he loves her because she's useful," Mia said, and then flinched like she'd said too much. I watched her carefully. "Why tell me now?" Her eyes got wet, but she didn't cry. "Because I'm sick of watching her do it like it's strategy. Because you didn't deserve to be talked about like a storage closet." I almost laughed at the accuracy of it. Almost. "What do you have?" I asked. Mia shook her head fast. Not hacked stuff, nothing like that. I'm not a criminal, but I have what I have." She pulled out her phone, angled it so no one else could see. A blurry photo. Ava's wrist. A man's hand over it, fingers curved like ownership. The watch again. the face sharp enough to recognize. "And I have this," Mia said, and scrolled. A group chat screenshot. Ava's name at the top, her little profile photo smiling like a mask. A message from Ava. "He'll calm down. He always does." Below it, a laughing emoji from someone else. Below that, another message. "Just make sure you don't end up paying him anything." "What's the event tomorrow?" I asked. Mia's voice dropped. "Hotel conference center, ballrooms, VIP list. Blake will be there. He'll be her +1 without calling it that." I nodded, slow. Why the warning to come alone? Mia's eyes darted to the window. Because Blake isn't just a cheater. He's the kind of guy who smiles while he's aiming. I sat back. "I'm not going to start a fight." "You say that now," she whispered. "I say it because it's true," I said. "I'm not there to swing. I'm there to see." Mia's shoulders loosened a fraction. "Then don't go near the garage." I looked at her. "Why?" She slid the phone closer, and in the corner of the blurry picture was a sign behind them. "Private loading, authorized only." My stomach tightened. "He parks back there." Mia nodded. "He thinks it makes him untouchable." I stood up, left cash under the napkin, and looked at her one last time. "I'm going to do this clean," I said. Mia's eyes stayed on mine. "Clean can still cut." As I walked out into the hard daylight, my phone buzzed again. Ava. I didn't answer, but the screen lit up with her first text in days. "Where are you staying?" Not "are you okay?" Not "what did I do?" Just a question about access. I typed one word back and hit send. "Okay?" And I felt something in me click into place. My job isn't glamorous. I work for a security systems contractor, commercial installs, access control, camera maintenance. It's the kind of work people only notice when it fails. It also teaches you something. Most humans tell on themselves if you let the environment do the talking. I didn't hack Ava's phone. I didn't need to. I didn't want anything I couldn't defend if a lawyer ever asked. I pulled the hotel's event schedule from the public site. I called the events desk like a normal person and asked what time doors opened for vendors. "Ballroom C opens at 4, the coordinator said, cheerful. "Are you with one of the sponsors?" "Yes," I said, because it was true. My company serviced some of their access readers. I had a vendor badge. Legit. In the office, I asked my coworker, Sean, for a favor. Sean's the kind of guy who always smells like solder and black coffee. "I need you to cover my shift after 4, I said. He glanced up. "You look like you're about to do something you'll regret." "I'm about to do something I'll document," I said. Sean grimaced. "Don't get yourself in trouble. Cameras in public are fair. Anything beyond that, you're on your own." "Public only," I promised. At 3:48 p.m., I sat in my car across from the hotel, hands on the wheel, breathing slow. The lobby doors slid open and shut like a mouth chewing secrets. At 4:06, Ava arrived. Not in a rideshare, not alone. She came in through the side entrance by the parking structure, the one vendors used. She wore a sleek black dress that she never wore for me, and she laughed too loudly at something a man said beside her. Blake Harlan. He moved like he owned air, tall, confident, suit jacket open like rules didn't apply to him. And there it was again. The watch, shining against his wrist as he touched Ava's back, guiding her, steering her. They didn't kiss in the open. They didn't have to. They were past that. They were in the stage where they believed they were untouchable. I stayed in the public area. I filmed what I could without being obvious. Them entering together, their faces, the time on the lobby clock behind them, the vendor sign they passed. I followed at a distance as they headed toward the parking structure, not close enough to be seen, close enough to feel the heat of it. The structure was a concrete maze, echoing with footsteps, with fluorescent lights that made every shadow look guilty. I took the stairs to stay quiet. My shoes sounded too loud anyway. On the third level, I saw them. Ava leaned against a pillar, Blake close, talking into her ear. She smiled like she was being fed lines. Then Ava's head turned. Not toward Blake, toward the stairwell, toward me. For half a second, her eyes locked on the dark gap where I stood. The air went tight. My heart didn't pound. It waited, like an animal holding still in tall grass. Blake followed her gaze, and he smiled directly at my hiding spot. Not surprised, not confused, smug. He lifted 2 fingers in a lazy little salute, like we were buddies at a bar. Then he turned back to Ava and whispered something that made her laugh. In the car, my phone buzzed again. A text from Ava. Don't. 1 word. Command tone. I stared at it, then set the phone face down the way she always did. I whispered to myself, barely audible. Okay. Behind the hotel, the loading area was marked like a warning. Private. Authorized vehicles only. Tau enforced. I stood where the sign was impossible to miss and took a photo of it. Then another that included the painted curb. Then another that included Blake's car, parked like the rules were suggestions. A black sedan with a company decal on the door, fleet tag on the windshield, professional, corporate, vulnerable. A security guard leaned against a wall near the service door, bored. I approached with my vendor badge visible. Hey, I said, that sedan isn't supposed to be back here, right? He glanced at it. Nope. I've got deliveries coming, I said, which wasn't even a lie. Vendors were moving gear in and out. It's blocking the lane. The guard sighed like this was his whole life. He pulled out his phone. We tow all the time. People think they're special. Some people do, I said. Within minutes, a tow truck rolled in like a shark. The operator hopped out, clipboard in hand. No drama. He checked the sign, checked the plate, hooked the car. That's when Blake appeared, striding out of the service door with Ava 2 steps behind him. His smile was gone. His face had that pinched look of a man who's never been told no. Hey, he shouted. What the hell is this? The tow operator didn't flinch. Private zone, tow enforced. That's my car, Blake snapped. Was, the operator corrected, tightening chains. You can get it at the lot. Fees apply. Blake stepped closer, too close, and jabbed a finger toward the operator's chest. Unhook it. The guard pushed off the wall, suddenly awake. Sir, back up. Blake looked at the guard like he was a stain on the floor. This is a misunderstanding. It's a sign, the guard said. It's not a poem. You, she hissed, stepping closer. Are you serious? I kept my hands visible. I kept my voice level. I'm not touching anything. You're embarrassing me, she said, teeth tight, her smile for the public already forming and failing in the same breath. I'm not here to fight, I said. I'm here to remove myself. Blake snapped his gaze to me. Who are you? I met his eyes. The guy you've been borrowing from. His jaw worked like he was chewing a thought. He took 1 step toward me. The security guard stepped between us, palm out. Sir, last warning. Keep it calm. Blake's nostrils flared. You think you're doing something, he said. I am, I said. I'm doing it clean. He laughed once, sharp. You're nothing. She told me you're nothing. Ava's face twitched, not denial, not shame. Annoyance that he said it out loud. I leaned in just enough that only Blake could hear. I'm not here to swing, I said softly. I'm here to make sure you can't park wherever you want. His eyes narrowed, trying to figure out the angle. The tow truck lifted the sedan with a hydraulic groan. Blake watched his status rise off the ground like it had weight. Ava grabbed my wrist. Her nails dug in, hard. Fix this, she hissed. That's when I realized something simple and awful. She didn't see betrayal as a moral issue. She saw it as a logistics issue. She saw me as the person who cleaned up her messes. I pulled my wrist free without jerking. No, I said. Okay? Means I heard you. It doesn't mean I obey. The guard looked between us, uncomfortable, eyes already calculating whether to call his supervisor. Blake's smile returned, but it was thin. "This isn't over," he said. I nodded once. "I know." Then I turned and walked away while the tow truck rolled out, Blake's car swinging behind it like a trophy. Behind me, Ava's voice cut through the air. "You're making this worse." I didn't turn around. I just kept walking, because I finally understood. There was nothing left to save. And my phone buzzed with Mia's name again, like a timer hitting 0. I met my attorney the next morning, not because I wanted to win, but because I wanted to stay upright in the part where people start lying. Her name was Dana Pierce. She had sharp eyes, a calm voice, and a desk so neat it looked like it had never been touched by emotion. "You're not married," she confirmed after scanning my documents. "That simplifies some things, but shared lease, shared property, shared accounts, people can still make your life noisy." "I want quiet," I said. "Then you need rules," Dana said. "No threats, no vandalism, no blackmail. You can tell the truth, you can set boundaries, you can document. That's it." I nodded. "I can do that." Dana slid a legal pad toward me. "Write down exactly what you know and how you know it. Not what you think, not what you assume." So I did. Dates, times, public footage, witnesses, the tow, the group chat screenshot Mia gave me, Ava's texts, everything clean. Dana tapped the page. "This is strong because it's boring," she said. "Boring wins." I left her office with a folder and a plan that didn't require shouting. Then I called Mia. She answered on the second ring, like she'd been waiting. "He's mad," she said immediately. "Good," I said. "You're not scared?" "I'm careful," I said. "There's a difference." There was a pause. Then Mia said, "There's more you should know." "Tell me." "Blake isn't single," she said. "He's got someone. Long term. She thinks he's faithful. He tells her he travels for work." I exhaled slow. "Name?" "Tessa," Mia said. "Tessa Lane. She works at the art museum downtown. She's not stupid, she just trusts." "And Ava knows?" Mia's voice went flat. "Ava doesn't care, she thinks it's funny." I closed my eyes. "How do you know this?" "I've heard him on speaker," Mia said. "I've seen the calendar invites. And—" She hesitated. "I have a message thread. I forwarded it to myself because I knew I might need it someday." "Send it," I said. A second later, my phone pinged with a screenshot. Blake. "She's useful, she'll calm down." Ava. "He's stubborn." Blake. "Then punish him. Make him leave so you look clean." Ava. "Already working on it." My chest went cold in a way that felt almost peaceful. The plan wasn't a theory. It was a script. I looked down at the folder Dana gave me and made 3 envelopes on my kitchen table. One to Ava. A simple notice, written like a fact. No insults, no pleas, just the end. One to Ava's HR. Not a scandal letter, not a hit job, just a report that a vendor witnessed a policy concern at a company event. If they didn't care, fine. If they did, that was on them. One to Tessa Lane. Truth, with timestamps, so she could choose her own reality. I didn't want to destroy Ava. I wanted to remove her access to my life and stop her from rewriting me into her victim story. At 8:17 p.m., Ava left me a voicemail. Her voice was calm now, controlled. "If you do anything stupid," she said, "you'll regret it. People talk. You don't want to be the guy who couldn't handle rejection." Rejection. Like she was a prize and I was a sore loser. I smiled, slow. "Okay," I whispered to the empty room. And I scheduled the deliveries for the night of her biggest event, because plans deserve timing. That afternoon, I made myself rehearse the boring parts, because the boring parts are where people slip. I printed 2 copies of everything and put one in the glove box and one in a folder Dana told me to treat like a seatbelt. I wrote down what I would say if Ava tried to bait me, and I crossed out anything that sounded like pain pretending to be power. All I kept was truth. I also did something that felt humiliating and smart. I called my bank and asked how to lock down my cards if a lost wallet situation suddenly happened. I changed my streaming passwords, then my email, then the recovery questions. Not because I thought Ava was a thief, but because I knew she was a storyteller, and storytellers love props. Before I left, I bought a pack of cheap pens, the kind that don't smear when your hand sweats. The cashier asked if I needed a bag. I said, "No, I'm trying to travel light." When I got home, I put my phone on the table and watched it like a trap. No messages from Ava. I checked the time, rinsed my hands, and promised myself I wouldn't raise my voice, no matter what they did too. Just the quiet. Just the sense that she was saving her voice for a room full of witnesses. So I did the same. Ava's company hosted a charity gala every December. It was a glossy event with silent auctions, sponsor banners, and people in expensive clothes pretending they didn't sweat. My company was on the vendor list. I had an approved badge. I had a reason to be there that wasn't jealousy. At 6:03 p.m., I walked into the ballroom like a man arriving for work, calm, neutral, invisible to everyone except the people who mattered. Ava saw me immediately. Her eyes narrowed like she was looking at a stain on a white tablecloth. She glided over, smile fixed for the crowd, fury kept behind her teeth. "Not here," she said. "Not tonight." I tilted my head. "I'm here as a vendor." "You're here to punish me," she hissed, still smiling at passers-by like we were flirting. "I'm here because you told me to deal with it," I said softly. "I'm dealing." Her hand touched my arm, too firm, too controlling. "Fix this," she murmured again, like it was my job description. I stepped back, keeping space. Witnesses matter. Cameras matter. Rooms full of people matter. Across the room, Blake was laughing with donors, drink in hand, acting like he invented charm. His eyes found me. His grin widened, like a dare. He drifted over, casual, predator in a blazer. "Evan, right?" he said, like he'd practiced my name. "Look, man, you're taking this too personal." "That's funny," I said, "because you made it personal." He chuckled. "She and I have chemistry. You and she had paperwork." Ava's smile flickered. Her eyes darted to the room like she was tracking who heard what. Blake leaned closer, voice low. "You leave. She looks clean. She keeps the friends. She keeps the story. You want to be the villain? Go ahead. Wear it." I met his gaze. I already chose my role. "And what's that?" he asked. "The person who stops participating," I said. He frowned just a little, like he'd expected more drama. That's when my phone buzzed. "Tessa Lane. I'm at the museum. Can you meet me outside in 10? Mia must have reached her. Or Tessa found the courage herself. Either way, the next move wasn't mine to control. It was hers to see. I walked out into the foyer, where the music dulled and the air felt thinner. Tessa arrived in a simple coat, hair pulled back, face pale with focus. She didn't cry. She didn't shout. She looked at me like she was taking inventory. "You're Evan," she said. "Yes." She held up her phone. On the screen was my message, the screenshots, the timestamps. Her thumb hovered over the images like they were hot. "I asked him," she said. "He said you're obsessed. He said you're trying to sabotage his career." I kept my voice steady. "I don't know your life. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to give you the facts I can prove." Tessa's jaw tightened. "He told me he was coming here tonight to network." "He did," I said. "With your girlfriend." Her eyes flashed at the correction. Girlfriend, not colleague, not friend. The word hit like a door shutting. Tessa walked back toward the ballroom with me. Not rushing, not trembling. Purpose has a posture. Inside, she didn't create a scene. She did something worse for a liar. She asked questions. Calm, specific, impossible to dodge. "Blake," she said, stepping into his path, "why is your car getting towed from a restricted lot again?" His smile froze. "Babe, don't." she said. Why did you tell me you were in Chicago last month when you were at Ava's event? Blake laughed once, too loud. This is not the place. It's the perfect place, Tessa said, and her voice carried just enough to pull attention. Ava's face went stiff. She stepped forward, trying to control it. Hi, I'm Ava. There's been a misunderstanding. Tessa looked at her like she was an object someone left in the wrong room. Are you the misunderstanding? Ava's smile cracked. Excuse me? Blake reached for Tessa's elbow. She moved away before he touched her. Security's eyes began to shift toward us. The event had rules. Disorder wasn't allowed. That's the thing about polished rooms. They hate mess. They remove it fast. Ava grabbed my wrist again, harder than before, nails biting. Fix this, she hissed, breath hot. Fix it right now. I pulled free, slow. You still think I'm your cleanup crew? I said quietly. That's the whole problem. Her eyes widened, anger, then panic, then the start of something like fear. Not fear of losing me, fear of losing the story. And that's when the security lead stepped closer, listening, deciding. The security lead was a broad man in a dark suit with an earpiece and a face that never softened. He looked at Blake, then at Tessa, then at Ava. What's going on? He asked, voice neutral, like he was ordering coffee. Blake forced a laugh. Nothing. Personal stuff. We'll take it outside. The security lead's eyes flicked to Blake's vendor badge. You're not on the vendor list, he said. Blake's smile wobbled. I'm with... He gestured toward Ava like she was a pass. Ava opened her mouth, then closed it. Her supervisor was nearby, watching, and I saw the calculation in her eyes. Deny him or claim him. She chose the only move she thought kept control. He's my guest, she said quickly. The security lead nodded once. Guests stay in guest areas. He was in the service corridor earlier. We have cameras. That's a policy issue. Blake's face tightened. Come on. No, the security lead said, and his voice hardened. You're done here. Blake's charm tried to flare. This is ridiculous. It's standard, the security lead replied. He gestured, and two staff members stepped closer, not touching yet, just closing space. Ava's supervisor, an older woman in a silver dress, appeared at Ava's shoulder like a judge arriving. Ava, she said quietly, we need to talk. Now. Ava's face went white under the makeup. Not now, she whispered. Now, the supervisor repeated, and the word had weight. Blake stepped toward me, eyes sharp, trying for intimidation in the last second before being escorted. His shoulder bumped one of the staff members and he stumbled, not because they shoved him, but because arrogance isn't balanced. Something slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a hard clack. A badge, a company ID. The kind of thing you can't explain away when it's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Tessa picked it up, looked at it, and her mouth went tight. She handed it to the security lead without a word. That single motion felt like a verdict. Blake's mouth opened, no sound came out. Security guided him toward the exit, not violent, just firm, like taking out trash without touching the bag. Ava reached for me again, but her hand stopped mid-air like she remembered we were in public, like she remembered the cameras, like she remembered witnesses. Her voice dropped to a whisper. You did this. I shook my head. You wrote it, I said. I just stopped editing. Her eyes filled, not with regret, but with the panic of a person watching their image collapse in real time. Please, she said, and the word sounded wrong in her mouth. I looked at her the way you look at a door you've already closed. You were right, I said, keeping my voice low, calm, clean. I wasn't your priority. I was your safety net. Ava swallowed. Evan, and I just folded it, I finished. She flinched like I'd slapped her, but I hadn't moved. Words can land without hands. Tessa watched Blake disappear through the ballroom entrance, then turned and walked out without looking back at him, her spine straight as a ruler. Then my phone buzzed. Ava. Call me. I stared at it for a long moment, then typed the only answer she'd ever respected. Okay. I put the phone in my pocket, walked out into the valet circle, and sat behind the wheel of my car. The engine started. The world stayed the same, but my place in it didn't. I didn't look back at the ballroom. I didn't need to.